Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Thursday, July 18th, 2019. In the headlines this evening, Donald Trump has nominated the son of Antonin Scalia to be the next Secretary of Labor. And I want you to see how this is a perfect Jesuit ritual. Of course, Antonin Scalia was Catholic, very likely a Jesuit. He was a member of the Supreme Court, which is all Catholic, Jesuit, and Jewish. We just saw the latest confirmation process of Brett Kavanaugh, where he testified against the sexual assault that he was accused of on the Jesuit order's birthday, September 27th. Everyone needs to know about this. And don't forget that Donald Trump attended Fordham University in 1964, a Jesuit university. Of course, this news also comes after the death of the Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens. We'll talk more about that at the end. But here it is, the son, Eugene Scalia. He's currently 55 years old. His last birthday was October 25th, and from his birthday to this nomination is 266 days later. Now, why does that matter? Consider we're in the time of the 266th Pope, who is the first publicly Jesuit Pope. If you're not familiar with the Jesuits, they're the secret society within the Catholic Church. Their logo is IHS. It stands for what you see on the screen. And notice the Gematria value of the motto, IHS. It sums to 266 and 122, which is very interesting because Pope Francis is the 266th Pope. And Pope Francis equals 122. Could it be any more perfect? Don't forget that Pope Francis was made the 266th Pope on March 13th, 2013, a date that can be written 3/13/13. 3 is the second prime number, 13 is the sixth prime number. So 3, 13, 13 in prime numbers is 266. The date the 266th Pope, the first publicly Jesuit Pope, became. And again, the Jesuit motto equals 266 and 122 like Pope Francis. So here we are, 266 days after Antonin Scalia's son's birthday, two men who are likely Jesuits, and he gets nominated. Now, it's not just that. It's the fact that today is July 18th, 18/7 like 187. The official name of the Jesuits is the Society of Jesus, which equals 187. Where Washington, D.C. is, it was once called the Catholic Colony. That's why it's between Virginia and Maryland, like Virgin Mary. And notice Washington, D.C. is 187. We'll come back to that, but I just want to remind you that these Jesuit rituals, it's not just Trump. They've always been going on. Recall when Pope Francis visited the White House and visited Obama, the prior president. He did that on September 23rd, which is the 266th day of the year. That was in 2015. It was not a leap year. It was the 266th day of the year. Not by accident, because everything is by perfect ritual. So again, this Jesuit ritual comes on July 18th, 18/7, like 187, Society of Jesus 187, Washington, D.C. 187. Donald Trump, we've talked about this many times before, from his birthday to the Pope's birthday each year is a span of 187 days. Again, Pope Francis is the first publicly Jesuit Pope. Donald Trump went to the Jesuit University Fordham. Not by accident. Donald Trump was groomed for the office, just like so many men before him. It's not an accident that George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and Donald Trump are all born weeks apart from each other. All three of them are Manchurians, born and bred to be. there happens to be any Trump supporters out there who think he's fighting the New World Order, I'm going to open up the phone lines for you when I finish this presentation, and you're welcome to call in, and I will try to help you cure your cognitive dissonance. Don't forget, 3 years ago today, Donald Trump's GOP convention began. You might recall he came out to Queen, We Are the Champions, and that was synced up with Queen Elizabeth's birthday. Donald Trump's visited the Queen by the numbers several times since then, just like he's visited the Pope by the numbers since then, and by the Jesuit numbers, as we'll get to. But I did point out before Trump even took the stage on this day how it was synced up with Inauguration Day and why he might very well be the next president. In February of 2016, before Trump was even selected as the Republican nominee, I put out a video saying why he likely would be the next president because he was the order out of chaos candidate. That's a motto of the Masons and the Jesuits. But there it is, from July 18th, the date the convention started, to Inauguration Day when he was confirmed as president, was 187 days, and not by accident. With regards to this being the son of Antonin Scalia, who went out by the numbers, notice Antonin Scalia equals 84, as does Jesuit. If you're not aware, Justice Scalia was with a secret society affiliated with the Catholic Church, the Order of St. Hubertus. St. Hubertus equals 84. The full title is International Order of St. Hubertus. Notice that that sums to 158. 158. And of course, the Society of Jesus was formed on August 15th in France, which is also the stronghold of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, which has its headquarters in DC now. Again, the Jesuits and the Scottish Rites share the same motto. But the formation date was August 15th, a date written 15/8, like 158. To put this together, to make it more clear, Society of Jesus, 187. Ancient accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, what's etched on the Masonic House of the Temple in D.C., 187. Washington, D.C., 187. George Washington, 187. Very special number. For more overlap, notice Scottish Rite is 78, as is Jesuit. Notice Jesuit's also 84, like Masonry, like United States of America. And I'm going to put one more up there that I should have put up there. We just talked about how the Jesuits were formed on 15/8. Notice Freemasonry, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, is 158. And don't forget Donald Trump, the winner of the 58th U.S. presidential election, who announced he was running from the 58-story Trump Tower, who hired the 58-year-old Steve Ray for Inauguration Day. And with regards to the 84s, Pope Francis, born on a date with 84 numerology. See how this goes? All of these people were born and bred to be and selected for their numbers. None of this stuff is accident. Shows you that Donald Trump, without a doubt, is very much a part of the cabal, the New World Order. He's not fighting it, he is it. And that should be very clear. Just to make a point, Trump attended Fordham in 1964, 52 years before becoming president-elect. 52 years. Think that was an accident? President's 52, White House is 52, government is 52, authority is 52, the cabal is 52, Kabbalah's 52, Gematria is 52, Tree of Life is 52. Donald Trump received the Tree of Life Award. He is a practicing Kabbalist. The Jewish name for the Tree of Life is the Etz HaChaim 52. I could go on. Pope, he's synced up with the Pope 52, NWO, like New World Order 52. I could go on, trust me. So let's go back to this beautiful photo. You remember this one right here? Two women dressed like they're ready for a funeral. They probably just got done being groped by the Pope and Trump. Trump's got that shit-eating grin, and I don't know. The Pope looks like he just went poopy in his pants and he's 2 years old. But one of the weirdest photos I've ever seen, this is from May 24th, 2017, the 144th day of the year. Jesuit Order 144. You know. Don't forget Donald Trump, 2 days before that, was in Jerusalem for Jerusalem Day, touching the Western Wall by the numbers. Don't forget it. And again, been talking about these same patterns for years. This post is from 2017 showing the relationship between Trump and the Pope and 187. Again, I've been a broken record from 2015 showing this stuff again and again and again and again. Here's the relationship between the Scottish Rite and the Jesuits. The Scottish Rite at the 32nd degree shares the motto of the Jesuits. And again, Washington, D.C. used to be the Catholic colony controlled by the Jesuits, which is why it's between Virginia and Maryland. It's now named after the Scottish Rite Freemason, George Washington, and has the House of the Temple, the Masonic headquarters, not far from the White House. So the shared motto has a Gematria value of 115, like Masonic, like France, again, the Scottish Rite in France, the Jesuits in France. It means for the greater glory of God. This is the Latin. In English, for the greater glory of God, which equals 351, which is the 26th triangular number. If you add 1 through 26 together, it equals 351. God 26. So again, same pattern shown many times. With regards to the 32nd degree, America's 32, Scottish is 32, 7/4/1776, date with 32 numerology. Shouldn't be hard to see. And again, want to go back to one of my favorite examples of just how scripted the news is that we've been getting for years. Do you recall when Dick Cheney shot his lawyer buddy in the face while quail hunting on a ranch in Texas, not far from where Antonin Scalia ended up dying while quail hunting at a ranch in Texas with his secret society buddies from the Catholic Order of St. Hubertus? Look at this. The name antonym with the alphabetic order is 87. When you multiply the alphabetic order times 6, antonym's 522. Justice is 87. When you multiply 87 times 6, it's 522 every time. And notice Dick Cheney is 87 and 522. Just real quick before I show you the next piece. Recall that we just saw the death of the Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens days ago, July 16th, 87 days after his birthday. Not by accident. They also, here, I'll show you something else. Remember how they said they found a pillow over Antonin Scalia's head? Pillow with the alphabetic order 87. Again, if you multiply it times 6, it's 522. They said they found a pillow over Antonin Scalia's head. And then 33 days after his death, they nominated Merrick Garland. Recall? So anyhow, 87, 522. What's it matter? Well, here's what it matters. From the day that Dick Cheney shot his lawyer buddy in the face, February 11th, 2006, to the day that Antonin Scalia died, February 13th, 2016. I mean, almost the same day, 10 years apart. But look at it. 522 weeks on the nose. Two similar stories. Two members of the federal government quail hunting. One shoots his buddy in the face. One's found dead with the pillow over his head. 522 weeks apart. But here's the other kicker. Here is the other kicker. This was foreshadowed in Family Guy on May 20th, 2007, not long after Dick Cheney shot his hunting buddy in the face. It was an episode called Meet the Quagmires. And in this episode, Dick Cheney shoots Antonin Scalia. Now, May 20th, the day this episode released, Notice that's the day leaving 225 days left in the year. Is 225 the number 522 in reverse? Yes, it is. 522, 225. You know. Makes me sad that I showed these things years ago. 2016, this is, you know, information over 3 years old. This kind of stuff should wake up anybody in a second. You know, anybody should watch this and go, wow, this is not a coincidence. This is sick. But here I am, you know, demonstrating day after day, thousands and thousands of examples, and still somehow this work hasn't spread in the way it should. You know, people are fighting over all sorts of nonsense, caught up in all sorts of nonsense. Meanwhile, I've been calling like sports championships, making people tons and tons of money, showing how the whole system's rigged from the elections to the sports, and silence in the truth community. I just heard this guy, Max Egan, saying that nobody in the truth community has it figured out. Nobody really has any evidence. It's all just a bunch of theory. It's all just a bunch of competing theories. Sorry, old timer. I shouldn't be too mean for this guy. For the record, he's going to be at Anarchadelphia too, and him and I are supposed to be roommates. I guess that we're sharing rooms with people, but I'm going to have to let old Maxie know that, yeah, some of us do have it figured out. We've had it figured out for a long time, and it's time other people take notice. So anyway, I'm going to open up the phone lines. I don't want the same olds calling in. Not that I don't appreciate you guys, but who I want to call in is the Trump supporter out there, the QAnon follower who thinks, you know, they need to just sit back and watch the next QAnon video because Trump's taking care of business as he performs every Masonic and Jesuit ritual that every other president who came before him did. You know, and I get tired of you guys' comments. Oh, just because he's doing it the same as them doesn't mean he's about to. What are you guys even saying? I mean, how deluded are you guys? How much cognitive dissonance do you suffer from? So if any of you are out there and want to call in and see if we can cure the problem, the number is 509-731-0567. That's the number to call in. 509-731-0567. 0567. While we're waiting to see if anyone calls in, we can talk about the recent death of John Paul Stevens, just in case you've missed what I've had to show. We got a caller here. Caller?
Yeah, Zach, what's going on, bud? Hey, I'm not a Trump fanboy and all, man. I'm here to talk shit about that motherfucker. You know what? Comment?
Hey, hold on, man. Can you turn up your phone? It's super quiet.
Yeah, man. How's that? Is that better?
That's better.
Yeah, this motherfucker telling people go back to their country and shit. Wait, hey, you know what? This motherfucker, he needs to go back to Germany, this German descendant motherfucker, and go back to fucking doing what he does best, genociding fucking native races of people that live on this fucking land, and motherfuckers. Hey, these fucking people think they're so much fucking greater than all these other fucking races of people on the earth, man. They're so fucking weak and pussy, they can't even run a fucking proper planet without destroying it and its natural inhabitants. Fucking punk motherfuckers that got it coming to them. I cannot wait for these fucking people to get their fucking asses handed to them in the future. That's all I got, buddy. Thank you for everything you're doing. Keep doing a fucking good job. And man, survive the fucking days ahead, bro. All right, that's what I got for you. Love. Peace.
Appreciate it, friend. All right, take care, man. You know what? For the record, I'm going to have him call in some other time. He's called me before. He's the man whose father was a roadie with the band War. And someday his father's supposed to be a guest on my radio show. But he's a really interesting guy, actually. I'm actually surprised he just called in and said that, because I know that he's a Hispanic man. And he's told me that he thinks white people are the greatest race. And I'm just like, what? So anyway, the line is open if you want to call in. The number is 509-731-0567. While we're waiting for callers, again, let's review what just happened with the death of John Paul Stevens, the Supreme Court Justice who died at age 99. And to show you just how synced up this stuff is with the world of entertainment, Aaron Judge, who wears the number 99, a Manchurian athlete, the death of this justice is directly connected to Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge's birthday is April 26th. To the death of John Paul Stevens from his birthday was 81 days later. Notice Supreme Court justice equals 81. So does ritual. It also equals 99, like how John Paul Stevens died at age 99 and like how Judge wears number 99. And notice Aaron Judge equals 174 and 57, as does Supreme Court, as does John Paul Stevens. Not an accident. These are Manchurians, born and bred to be, the Supreme Court Justice and Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge just returned from a fake injury on his 57th day of his age. And the day that Aaron Judge was injured was April 20th, which is also the birthday of John Paul Stevens, who turned 99 that day. And notice from the birthday to the death of John Paul Stevens was 87 days later, or if you count the full span, it was 88 days. And of course, Judge equals 88. You know. It's no different. What they did with Family Guy and the death of Antonin Scalia, planned a decade in advance. They birth a man in a laboratory to play baseball for the Yankees. And here, I'll show you something about the New York Yankees in light of what I was just saying about the Jesuit order in the Supreme Court. Look at New York Yankees, 191, 187. Look at Society of Jesus, 191, 187. Again, the Supreme Court is all Catholic, Jesuit, and Jewish, and not by accident. Not in the least. So, I don't know. I guess none of the Trump supporters want to call in. They just want to leave comments. Sometimes I think the only people who support Donald Trump are cowards and, you know, trolls and, you know, people who don't even really have a voice. Here, let's go back and watch a commercial for good measure. Let's watch the Donald Trump Serta commercial. Donald Trump talking to sheep. Let's see. Hold on, gotta type in Serta right. This looks like the right one. Here we go. Hold on. Keep in mind this commercial is from 2009. Donald Trump wearing the same suit and tie that he wore for election night. Take a listen.
So what do you think of my Trump home mattress collection by Serta? Finally, the same luxury and comfort I demand in my hotels.
Oh, they'll never count sheep again.
Listen, why don't you come work for me?
What do you have in mind?
Something you were born to do.
Welcome to Room 9.
I mean, just look at this commercial. Sheep on pillars with the numbers 11 and 9, right? 11 and 9 wearing the same suit and tie, announced as the 45th president-elect on 11/9, November 9th, the fall of the Berlin Wall. And listen to what Trump says here at the end. Here, I'm going to rewind a little bit. Listen to what Trump says here about looking good number 9. And just remember, when you add 1 through 9 together, it equals 45. Just listen.
Welcome to Room 9.
Looking good, number 9. Looking good.
Where's your dignity?
And then listen to that question. Where's your dignity? Perfect question for every Trump supporter. Perfect question for everyone who votes in this rigged bullshit system. You know, both parties should make you sick. Born for the job, something you were born to do. They'll never count sheep again. What are the subliminal messages in here? Who votes? Sheep. You know, they'll never count sheep again. It's just unbelievable. And all of you guys who leave these comments that he's here to fight the New World Order, I mean, are you kidding me? A commercial with sheep, 11 and 9 on pillars. Could the mocking be any more? Here, let me remind you what's up with those numbers, too. They're not arbitrary. The name Donald in Jewish Gematria is 119. Very special number. It's also a number coded on the Vatican in Francis. Vatican's 119. Francis is 119. Let's see. We got a caller. Caller?
What's up, Zach? I'm not a Trump supporter or anything, but I just wanted to speak on that Iran drone being down earlier today. It kind of reminded me of, I think, sometime in maybe 88 or 87, one of those years, where America took down an Iran airline with like 290-some passengers. Do you remember that, or have you ever heard of that being in the news? Or
The U.S. took down an Iranian airline. I did not know this story.
Yep. I just wanted to know, like, well, since you never heard of it, maybe you could do a little detail on it, or I'll probably take some time and do it myself. But I just like, it kind of just reminded me of that story, and like, did they plan on like really shooting down an Iran airline in the 80s? Like, it just brought up a lot of questions, and now we got the Iran drone in the news. And then I also noticed that Iran is like one of 3 countries left in the world that isn't owned by the Rothschild. So I mean, it's pretty obvious what's coming for the near future. As far as Trump, I'm sure he'll get another 4 years, and he'll probably kick off the Iranian war or whatever, because that's what it's looking like in my opinion. That.
Yeah, you might not be too far off. I'll look into that story. I'll look it up. I hadn't heard about that before.
Yep, definitely. I appreciate listening, but have a good one.
All right, take care. For anyone who missed what I covered earlier about the drone being taken down, the last drone story with Iran was June 20th. The latest is today, July 18th. A span of 29 days later, drone equals 29. Of course, Puppet Trump's out there instigating it all the way. And as we talked about on June 20th, the drone that was shot down was an RQ-4 Global Hawk drone, which equals 187. It happened on the summer solstice 187. And now we get the second incident on July 18th, 18/7, like 187. You know? Yeah, Donald Trump, he's really fighting the New World Order, helping instigate wars, just like every puppet president before him. You know? So I'm going to remind people what QAnon is real quick. QAnon. You see the 74 there? You see the Masonic there? You see the Jewish there? You see the occult there? You see the English there? You see the Gematria there? It's got all the signature numbers. QAnon's nothing but controlled opposition, you know. For those fuzzy ones with the 11s and 9s on the side of them, if you know what I'm saying. All right, well, it looks like no Trump supporters want to call in. So I suppose it's because they know they have no argument. They don't want to shave the wool. So I guess we'll just wrap it up. One more presentation proving that there's nothing more relevant in the entire truth community than this code. Until next time.